drain that's going to go right there, plus a little bit more there. I've got this cold water feed, which is going to end up plugging on there and coming right up through this little X on the floor.
Blue for cold.
Blue for cold. Then I'm going to have this hot water feed, which is going to go back here. I'm going to curve this pipe around a little bit, and then I'm going to put an elbow on it and have that come up through the floor.
Pink for
right
hot.
over there. So that's the general idea. I'm going to need to use some sort of block or strap or something under this pipe to keep it right there so it doesn't want to slump down like this and leave a place where things can sit and not drain. So I'll work out a way to strap that up or block it up somehow.
You mean gravity goes down?
Gravity goes down when it works properly.
Wow.
The gravity in this house works, at least.
Something works.
That's right.
The gravity works. I know all too well. Every morning when I have to get out of bed, I know how the gravity works all too well.
That's correct.
I'm always complaining about that.
Yep.
About my morning battle against gravity.
Yep. So I'm going to see if I can. This is one of the original blocks that went in place here. I'm going to see if I can reinstall this block with the help of my friend the hammer. Where's my friend the hammer? Come on. It's under you.
Oh.
There's my friend the hammer. See the clamps tightened on this. You can also see my little cardboard drip catcher to see if anything dripped. I poured a bottle or two of water down here. You can still see just a tiny pool of water in that thing, and no drips at all.
If I had a periscope for a neck, I might be able to see all these things you're describing.
You might.
Like an ostrich. I need an ostrich's neck to
Yes,
see
you
everything.
Do. Or an elephant's trunk with an eyeball on the end of it.
Darling, don't be weird.
Weird? None of this stress has made me weird. So the sink is now sitting on this hardy board in the position it's going to be on top of the marble once everything is set up. It is nearly centered on everything. And if you look back here, the places where I've marked the two feeds to come through are going to be almost directly underneath the two taps once that gets mounted up there. So trying to sort of plan out where everything's going to go and make it happen in there without being able to have everything on top of it has been, well, challenging, but it looks like I've made everything line up. I've got my little center mark right down the center of here. Sink center marked. And you can see the little X back there where the pipe's actually going to come up over the joist. So if you sort of move it this way a little bit, there's the X of where the pipe actually comes up over the joist.
And there we have sinks in.
So after testing that connection between the old lead pipe and the plastic pipe and realizing it does not leak, which is excellent, and reinforcing things a little bit more, I was finally able to put the hardy board in place on top of that area that I had to cut out to redo the plumbing.
Explain what hardy board is.
This is basically a thin board made from concrete with nylon mesh webbing in there to reinforce it. It's designed to be what goes underneath ceramic tile or stone tile, and we're going to put marble in on top of this, so this hopefully will be a good surface to glue that onto.
So explain what you're doing.
So I'm drilling the holes for the pipes in the marble that go in the upstairs bathroom here, and I just drilled the first one for the drain pipe, which is the largest one, and so I'm now removing that particular drill bit from the drill, which is going to be a little bit tricky because it doesn't want to come out. And I just drilled this nice little perfect marble circle out of our tile of marble with this nice guide. And now hopefully I'll be able to do the remaining two holes with a slightly smaller drill bit. So these ones are edged with diamond powder, and that allows me to cut through the stone relatively smoothly as long as I keep everything wet. So,
Very tiny, tiny, tiny little diamonds.
yes,
Diamond dust, really.
Yeah, diamond dust. That's correct. Okay, so next one, I gotta find the 28 millimeter size. So much smaller 28 millimeter cutter.
It's sparkly.
It's very sparkly. That's what diamond dust will do. And so that's our next size, and I've got to do 2 holes this size in very specific locations. So I'm going to take this guy off. Pop. That's pretty good there. And basically I'm going to get this sized for our smaller one. Let's see. So I've set the guide up in the right place. I've got this on the drill in the right setting. And now hopefully I'll be able to do a smooth cut right here. Get this straight. There we have another little piece of marble carefully removed. Blunk.
Little marble puck.
A little marble puck, yes.
Little marble tablet in that case.
Pretty much, yeah. So, just trying to get the tiles to sit as level as possible. And also get themselves glued down nicely. And the floor is not entirely level because, well,
Nothing in this house is straight.
entirely straight. But I'm trying to get it as close as I can so that everything will sit as nicely as possible. So I'm now connecting up the sink drain for the upstairs bathroom, which is been a long time coming, and hopefully my efforts here will be functional when I'm done, bit by bit.
Row by row,
Exactly.
gonna make this bathroom grow.
Actually, I kind of wish the bathroom would grow. It's that would be a nice system.
It would be, wouldn't it?
It's I could definitely use a more organic system for plumbing.
Yeah,
That would be a good, worthy thing.
it would be nice.
Okay, so adapter 1, adapter 2.
And when you get to adapter 5 million, we'll be done?
I hope so. Okay, so some of the progress on the sink here. This was an entire day's work. I had to plumb the drain. I had to put down the marble, of course, and then I had to finish plumbing the plastic drain through the marble, set that up.
That was more than a day.
That was more than a day, yes, but the actually putting the sink in was a day. And then I had to measure very carefully how high up this pipe had to come, and then I discovered I had to assemble the sink top to the pedestal while it was out there. I couldn't actually do it in place because I couldn't get back into here, especially with the pipe in the way.
Now, when you say it was a day, you're not counting all of the prep work that went
No.
into this, which was about a month.
Correct. But then I had to lift this entire sink and get it up high enough and at an angle to be able to get it down over the pipe, all without being able to see through the sink to the pipe, of course, because the sink is not transparent.
And you're not Superman?
And I'm not Superman. I'm not even close.
I think you're Superman.
And of course, after the first time I got it on there, and then I knocked the stupid nut all the way down inside the pedestal, and I had to take the whole thing off to be able to get at the nut again. So I decided I wasn't going to do that again. Then, of course, the first time it leaked, and I had to go to the hardware store and get another gasket, and I put the gasket in, and it still leaked, so I put in a whole bunch of gunk and covered it with tape, and finally it stopped leaking. Then I realized exactly how low the water pressure is up here when I started actually filling the pipes with air and everything. So the water pressure is pretty darn low, and eventually I'll have to put in some sort of booster pump and tank to be able to get better pressure up here on the second floor. But we now have a functional sink, a functional drain, nothing leaks, and it looks pretty good, if I say so myself. This classic Carrara marble with the beautiful column and the original antique sink and the standing waste drain system here, and everything works, which is marvelous.
Explain about the standing waste drain system.
So the default in these sinks, unlike a modern sink, you turn it on, the water goes down, it goes down the drain, unless you have some sort of plug. In these ones, you didn't want to waste water. They were used to not wasting water. So when you turn on the water and it fills things up, the default is that the water stays in the sink. And when you're done, you turn everything off, and you can use that water to wash or do whatever you're doing, and then when you're done with it, finally, you lift the waste thing and it lets the water out. And that is the normal system for these old sinks. That's part of what makes them different from modern sinks, and part of why I wanted these to match the original design of the house.
Believe it or not, the sink was actually the easy part of the upstairs bathroom, because there was also the bathtub to deal with.
So, this is the old, extremely corroded drain that came out of the bathtub, and I had to use a Dremel tool to cut off the flanges of this and cut slots in it, and then whack it once with a chisel to get it unstuck, and then I had to lift up the whole tub while Sarah grabbed this out from underneath. This is very corroded. The pipe that was originally attached off of here simply corroded into nothing, pretty much, and was causing all sorts of, well, leaks. So now I have to clean up the tub of all the brass shavings and old plumber's putty and rust and such, and then take some measurements, and hopefully this part is called a shoe, interestingly enough. So then I have to get a new brass shoe to replace this original one, and then connect everything up, which is going to be its own separate challenge. But so I've had a partial success here so far. I've removed the standing waste drain from the tub. So this is the original drain system for that pedestal tub in the upstairs bathroom, and we are going to try to save this. And it has a lot of corrosion on it, but here I'll show you the top. So this is how you let the water out of the tub, is by pulling this up.
Can you turn it so they can actually read? Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so this also has the tub's overflow prevention system built into it, and is...
How does that work?
So basically, when the tub, normally when you have a tub that fills up, there's a little drain that's part way up that allows water out so it won't overflow. And the way that they did it with these is they did it invisibly, so that the water basically fills this thing up, but there's a hole drilled at the height of the, close to the top of the tub inside here. And so then that would allow the water to go up and down the drain so that you can fill the tub and have it keep on running, and it'll drain down the drain, but you don't have the, you know, that sort of little hole in the bathtub to deal with it.
So you can heat up your water.
Exactly, yes.
Now we should point out this is the American way of doing things, because in Australia they do things differently.
Of course. So, but in the meantime on this one, you can see there's still one nut that's stuck to this, corroded in place, that I have to remove. And then you can see a bunch of corrosion all over here. And I'm trying to soften up that corrosion carefully with penetrating oil here. And then I will try to very carefully wire brush off that corrosion. There's also a little bit of the pipe that corroded away stuck inside of here. And I have to peel that out very carefully. You can see there's just a little bit of it stuck inside there. And I'm going to have to remove that. So